Hey guys, so update on things. It's the 5th of October, and I kind of started feeling around for buyers, I suppose about a week ago, very end of September, beginning of October-ish. The search is proving a little bit more difficult than I anticipated. I kind of had this fantasy that I would have my choice, between two or three buyers and be able to kind of get things rolling so that by November I could go full time in my new position. It doesn't look that way. It might take a little bit longer than I expected. I've got one guy coming tonight in a little over an hour to take a look at the place. I think I mentioned him in a previous video. Nice guy, but he's got like a very corporate mindset about teaching English. He started his own school 10 or 12 years ago now, actually, way out west in this tiny little town, and then opened a second location further in town. And since the beginning, he's always been one of the more expensive schools. I think the average is it's like roughly the equivalent of like $90-$95 US per student per child, with a bunch of like teaching materials fees and an entrance fee and stuff. It's very common in Japan, but I really didn't like the idea of doing that. I figured, it's just me. I've worked at other schools that have done, fairly well for not doing that to people, so I'm going to go that route. And it's been okay. Um, so he's coming to take a look. We talked on the phone, and he gave me a really low offer. He says, well, basically, we pay about $100 per student, and then maybe we'll give you $2,000 on top of that, which means I wouldn't even break 10 grand for investing, 6 years of my life and plus minus 25 grand in starting this place. And it's an instant walk-in after rent, roughly three grand a month. It just doesn't seem fair, but that's what he said. He might just be playing corporate. I don't know. But never say no to a lead. So he's gonna come in and take a look, and I don't really expect much from him. It's kind of a very different thing from his business model. Mine is more like a local, one guy, maybe one staff teaching, reasonable, long term, affordable, and I think he's more like much more into like the marketing image type of stuff. And I mean, the truth is, if you're not really serious about studying and you're not working hard, it doesn't matter what school you go to. If you are really serious and you are working hard, then it makes a difference. But I don't know. People seem to have not realized that as of yet. So that's where I'm at. I have a few things in mind. My wife kind of told one of her friends whose son is coming here as a student that I'm in the process of kind of formulating an exit plan. I wish she had not done that. I really felt like that was kind of not in her, not her, nothing to do with her. It was something she should have just not done that. But that just goes to show you have to be really careful about what you say and how you involve people. On the one hand, I feel like it's my wife. She needs to know it's only normal. But then on the other, I'm like, well, I did tell her all this stuff, and I didn't say don't tell anyone, and now she went and told someone, and that raised the issue that this mother, my wife's friend, the mother of a student of mine, said that she may not continue if I leave, and she kind of started hinting at the fact that the school is very much about me as a teacher and not so much about the location and the value and affordability and all of that. And I don't know how much of that is true. I've worked in the industry long enough. I think that if a good teacher were to come in and the transition was smooth enough so that the children and the parents had a chance to meet said new teacher, that things would continue pretty normally. We might lose, they might lose a few students here and there, but I don't really foresee like a mass exodus. I think people are just going to be like, well, that's too bad, and then things will just continue. English class is not that big of a part of their life. It's 50 minutes a week tops. It may be that some of the private students leave, or some of the really, really little kids, those ones tend to get attached to the teacher. But that's why I want to do like a really thorough, at least 2-week handoff, followed by you know, some kind of party send off for me and welcome for the new teacher. I think that would be a really nice touch. I think my wife was thinking, like, I just want to get out of here as fast as possible. Part of me does, and I'm really getting tired of just grinding away at teaching here. But another part, you know, I did invest a lot in this, and I'm still going to be in the community, you know, for I don't know how long, indefinite period of time. Could be 5 years, 10 years, could be 15 years. At least until my youngest child is off to university, probably, unless I land like a really lucrative software development job that lets me bounce back and forth more and more, which could happen, you know. We'll have to wait and see. So, where was I? Yeah, so I guess I'm not expecting a lot from tonight's meeting, to be honest. I'm expecting he's probably just going to come and say, oh, I can't make this into like a corporate little money box. Thanks anyway. He may offer me like a really low figure, and then I just don't want my students to have to pay like 50% more than they are now just because the teacher changed. That really doesn't seem right. I don't think I could ask him to keep the prices the same either, because then he'd have to kind of justify that to his other 2 locations. But he may know somebody. You never know. So I guess long term, right now it's October, beginning of October, so roughly October, November, December, January, February, up to what would it be? March. That would be the end of March. And then by then, if I don't have a new teacher, I should probably say by early January, if I don't have a new teacher or someone interested in buying the school, I may have to just announce its closure. Have to wait and see. I need to talk with my new boss. He might be happy to have me carry on a part-time basis until then, just because he has concerns about scaling and then having all these people he has to pay and everything. So it may work out in everybody's interest. I really thought it would be easier to find somebody. So far, people have had visa issues. They live too far away. They have kids. You know, they don't want to come back after dark. What was the other one? Another couple that has a school, a second location that's roughly about a mile from mine. So it's kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense to buy this location too, because if my students were to quit, they could just go to that location. So have to wait and see what kind of opportunities arise. But to be fair, I haven't started advertising full tilt. You know, I've been very quiet about it and just reached out to people one-on-one and asked them not to say anything and to see if they're interested. And so we'll see. It may be that there's, you know, an international couple where the husband's an ALT out there, you know, assistant language teacher, and just can't handle it anymore and wants something with a little more freedom and better income. It's going to have to be something like that. There was one girl, she would have been perfect. She's American, single mother over here, speaks perfect Japanese, has been teaching English, I think for at least 13 years, maybe more. But she lives too far away, and her daughter is really settled in their neighborhood, and she doesn't want to put her through the experience of, you know, having to leave her school and friends, even though it's only like 15 miles, I think. But by Japanese standards, that's a lot, especially in this prefecture. So, you know, that's her prerogative. Anyways, okay, video's getting long enough. I'm going to have to go ahead and end it. So with that, until next time.